If you're buying, selling, or just watching the Windsor-Essex market right now, you need to see these February numbers because something has quietly shifted. Inventory is up, homes are sitting a little longer, but here's the thing, prices are still holding stronger than most people expect. So is this finally a buyer's market, or are we just settling into something more balanced? Stick around because I'm breaking down the actual MLS numbers for February 2026. The sales, the prices, the inventory, the most popular home styles, and what it all means for you right now, whether you're in the Windsor, Kingsville, Leamington, or anywhere in between. By the way, if you're thinking about buying, selling, investing, or relocating to Leamington, Kingsville, or anywhere in Windsor-Essex, I have people just like you reaching out to me every single week to help them with their next move. And I would genuinely love to have a private conversation with you to see how I can help you make the right decisions, avoid the mistakes, and be properly guided throughout this entire process. If you'd like that conversation, just click the link in the description or contact me directly, just right here on the screen. Hey everyone, I'm Linda Hakr with Jump Realty, and welcome back to your monthly Windsor-Essex market update. Every single month, I go through the local MLS stats so you get the real numbers, not just headlines. Just so you know what's actually happening in our market. So let's dive into it. Let's start with the overall picture for February. So across Windsor-Essex, there were 293 homes sold, which is down about 14.8% compared to February of last year. Now, before anyone panics, context matters here. The average sale price came in at $520,108, with a median of $495,000. So yeah, sales volume slowed and prices softened slightly, but the market is far from falling apart. What we're really watching is a normalization after a few unusual years. One thing that jumped out in the data is the sales volume dollar figure. Total residential sales came in at just over 128 million for the month, compared to about 152 million in the same month last year. That gap is mostly about the number of transactions, not prices collapsing. Now, here's the big story right now. Inventory. In February, there were 868 new listings, and by the end of the month, there were 1,598 active homes on the market across Windsor-Essex. That's roughly a 15% increase compared to last year. And there's a huge reason why buyers are finally feeling like they have some breathing room again. Think about where we were a couple of years ago. Buyers were making decisions in hours, sometimes waiving conditions, going way over asking. That pressure has eased. Buyers are taking more time, comparing homes, being more thoughtful. You can see it in the days on market too. The median days on market in February was about 20 days, compared to about 15 last year. Now, I know that sounds like a big jump, but honestly, a 20-day selling timeline is still healthy, active market. Homes priced right and presented well are absolutely still selling. Let's talk about the detached homes specifically, because that's really the backbone of our market here. For single-family homes, the average sale price was $555,850 with a median of $520,000. The median days on market for detached homes was around 18.5 days, and here's the number I love. The sale to list price ratio was 100.2%. That means homes are still selling right around asking price when they're priced correctly. That's not a weak market, that's a functioning market. Now here's the part everyone always finds interesting. What types of homes are actually moving? The number one most popular style sold in February was the bungalow, with 62 sales at an average price of about $480,052. No surprise there. Bungalows are consistently the most in-demand style in Windsor-Essex, especially with downsizers and retirees. If you own a bungalow, you're sitting on a very sellable asset. Coming in second was the Ranch with 35 sales averaging about $631,822. These are typically larger footprints, which explains that price jump. Third was the 1.5 story with 30 sales at an average of about $392,270, a more affordable entry point, which is drawing buyers in that range. Then we have the 2-story home with 28 sales, and these top the price chart at an average of $718,178. These are your larger family homes with more living space. And also at 28 sales, raised ranches homes averaged about 601, a very popular style throughout Windsor-Essex. One more thing worth noting from the data, there were 10 sales in the $1 million to $1.5 million range in February alone. The luxury segment is quieter, but it is still moving. So what does all of this add up to? Right now, Windsor-Essex is sitting at about 5.5 months of inventory. That's the threshold where we start talking about a balanced market. We're not in a frenzied seller's market or of like the pandemic years, but we're also not in a buyer's market territory. It's more like the market has found its footing. Buyers have options and time. Sellers who price properly and present well are still getting great results, and the data backs that up. A 100.2% sale to list ratio doesn't lie. I post these Windsor-Essex market updates every month, so you always know exactly what's happening in our local market before you make the next move. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.